putting into these operator bans, we can figure out who gets seeded.
Well, like you said, I think we are going to see some of that tomfoolery, maybe some of that Amaru play, the Ying play, something to spice it up in there. But who knows? Who knows? Maybe Farmers Market can bring something completely different. Maybe they're not gonna bring out the memes. We saw that earlier chat message saying they're not a meme team, resenting that statement from the casters. But hey, we're gonna we're gonna go into this one with that in mind. We see them promoting their Twitters there, but Thatcher will be ban number one, and that is never a surprise to see the SAS member taken off the table, and that will be rounded out, followed by the Maverick ban.
So you do have the Thermite, the Haban, and the Ace left up on the board here, but Maverick tricking not going to be a possibility, and getting open walls will be substantially more difficult. You're likely to see a Cade ban in conjunction with removing the Thatcher, and we'll have the Wamai taken out, making Pixel much more difficult to hold, and that should be quite an austere task. When you can't extend horizontally on the site, wasting time and burning out the clock becomes a lot more difficult. The final ban to come through, maybe we'll even see something like the Intel or the Mira ban, and in fact the black windows will be taken out. So no windows to concern yourselves with, but a concern that I immediately see is the presence of Thatcher, the Electro Claws on the board with no EMP grenades from Thatcher to clear them.
Another big point of concern is that Wamai ban. Personally, I love to see a Wamai ban because it really shakes up the way teams are forced to play the pixel angle. Often they'll bring a warden to compensate for the lack of those Wamai magnets, or often electing to not even play that position whatsoever. That is how powerful a Wamai ban can be on a map like Cafe, with a position as strong as Pixel can be, assisted by one or several deployable shields. But that's not what we're going to see first. Our first site is in fact going to be kitchen and service downstairs. And so we're going to have to keep an eye on the vertical pressure and what exactly Aerial Arise are going to bring to the table. Because this is such an established roster, I would not be surprised if we see your typical top-down clear, your methodical approach to taking map control and working your way all the way down to site.
In seeing this lineup, it looks like we'll see Farmers Market kind of start off here and play sort of a slowdown style of siege. I don't see them going for too wide of a roam. You're lacking operators crucial in that, such as the Mozzie, for example, or maybe even a Vigil, and you'll probably be seeing them start off here, play a little bit closer to home, rather than risking the biscuit early by trying to extend upstairs in areas like dining, mining, and train. When you try to go for an extension like that, it can be very effective in burning out the clock, but there's also the inherent risk that stationing roamers offsite does. You leave yourself open for a potential rush. Should Aerial Arise try to move in immediately and apply a ton of site pressure, you might be a little bit worse for wear, rethinking actually tears down the barricade over at the garage side of things. So I thought for a moment there he might have tried to go for an aggressive run out. Cartley's got a Electro Claw? Okay, he's gonna chuck it up on the wall. That's actually really creative there. Another black eye camera, so a lot of utility being deployed outside the bounds of the map currently. And yeah, that Electro Claw could be very difficult, and it's very creative to see from Farmers Market. That really shows the game knowledge of these players. Ooh, Discover tempting his luck at bottom red. Bit of damage done there by Dami on the Ash, trying to aggress early. Aerial Arise searching for that opening frag.
Well, what we just saw here from Farmers Market is no surprise whatsoever. Early aggression, creative plays. I think we're going to be seeing this from them all afternoon. And well, if they can beat Aerial Arise, all tournament. But they certainly have their work cut out for them. We are going to see Aerial Arise now starting to work their way in, working that top down clear, assisted by that skeleton key that Gunner is bringing to the table. We do have 3 C4s on the board for this Farmers Market team, so they're going to be looking to rain some destruction themselves from those vertical plays. Cartley has now retreated from that early creativity, headed back towards the kitchen site itself, as Max will open us up and taking down the kill on 2 Afers there. That is a good early pick, and that's the smoke, the plant denial himself, the first to fall.
just the kill you want to start things out. No longer with those gas canisters being a worry, Aerial Arise have more flexibility in the time that they can allow to pass by the clock. Eclipsing the minute and 25 mark. Farmers Market are still stout in their positions. Discover may attempt to go for a bit of a flank here, rotating up red. He checks the angle, no claymore or air jab, obstructing his path. Still sitting here, hoping that maybe one of the members of Aerial Arise gets a little bit too antsy and misdrones him. This VIP angle is also yet to be cleared, and there we are. They're looking for this Electroclaw. The Ash Charge detonates. Little do they know, it's still outside the building, and Dami, frustrated as ever, sees that the Electroclaw perseveres, and Farmers Market likely to remain with that hatch up the entirety of the round. If Aerial Arise had an IQ on the board, they would know what kind of trolling is going on here from Farmers Market, but this Electroclaw probably just going to stay there. Kool-Aid jumped out the building, and I think he actually did manage to find it, so it seems the jig is up, and now the hatch will be open, but the time that's actually delayed gives a bit of an advantage to Farmers Market, and still with Discover on the flank, this attack may soon fall to pieces.
Well, the attack will continue to find some early traction, taking out Sod, and then Discover will answer that one back, removing the buck from play. Cartley finds one onto Whitlock, but now the plant is hitting the deck. C4 comes out to the deny, but it will not connect, and now the plant will hit the deck. Dami gets taken out by Rethinkin', but Cartley gets traded out right away by Max. Kool-Aid with the follow-up onto Discover. It's all up to Rethinkin'. He'll swing. The double swing from Aerial Arise is too much for Rethinkin' to handle, and Aerial Arise takes round number 1.
You got to give some credit where it's due there for Aerial Arise. Shooting that nitro cell before it detonated was crucial. If the diffuser hadn't gone down and the player who was planting it actually died, that would have ensued so much chaos within the objective, and Aerial Arise already had been moving quite slow in their push. Sitting at 20 seconds with uncertainty about who's going to plant the diffuser is no strong position as an attacker. Aerial Arise, though, managed to make it work, and they'll take round 1. After that, it seems the Farmers Market, they're not going to switch up and go for a rotation just yet. Kitchen will return again. But we've got the Maestro on the board this time, contrary to Notzod's pick in the previous round. They're going to use a little bit more intel, but in that pick for the Evil Eyes and the Alda, you trade out having the Black Eyes on the exterior of the building.
I really want to highlight what we saw Cartley do with that Electroclaw last round. That creativity paid off in a big way. It probably took 20, 30 seconds off the clock for that rotation to go outside. The Nomad took out the Electroclaw, and finally they were able to open the hatch. And it looked like everything was going Farmers Market's way until that closing push. The 20-second meta came into fruition there, and it was the Gunners of Aerial Arise who just took out the Farmers Market defenders and really did not let them continue that success. That delaying was eventually stalled out. But we're going to be heading back to Kitchen once again. They're going to try to make this happen this time, and Afer's not wasting any time once again to get this pressure going, this early aggression. These spawn peaks are coming out repeatedly from Farmers Market.
The Smoke there testing his luck, and well, I guess lucky for him, nobody on Aerial Arise was ready to take that gunfight. You don't want to lose your Smoke again early, especially with how he died in the previous round. That allowed Aerial Arise, as I mentioned, the flexibility to pressure the objective without being worried that a gas canister would stall out their attack once it came to get the diffuser down. Early rotates here, the dronage from Aerial. They're going to try to eliminate what presence may be from Farmers Market on the second floor. A nitro cell tossed up there on the roof, so maybe waiting for someone to come in through red. If someone gets lucky here, should the nitro detonate and Aerial Arise lose a man early, that would be a big concern. And here comes Kool-Aid, the Nomad with so much utility. The air jab detonates. Slow on the detonation, though. Discover fails to get the kill, and now Kool-Aid turns back, wary of the possible presence of the Lucy below.
Well, the aggression from Discover worked so well last time, but Cartley is going to be the first to find that frag for Farmers Market, taking down Gunner. And now we are going to see Discover still lurking down in the bottom of red stairs, just waiting for that opportunity to strike. But now the attackers are trying to get this freezer pressure mounting, this pressure down white stairs. We haven't seen them have much success so far in this push. They haven't quite gotten all those angles open that they needed to. They are going to try to get this freezer hatch open once again, but the Electro Claw is proving to be quite elusive. Now with bottom white stairs clear, Dami's going to clear that barbed wire and start to work their way down onto the main floor. But Discover is just waiting in small bakery, waiting for the defenders, the attackers rather, to walk in to her open and loving arms.
Well, real lack of VIP pressure. Dami's just droning it out here, but I think I'm honestly a bit hesitant because you can't apply pressure really at all for the freezer wall or lock off the bottom white rotate. And that could really come to bite them if they try to go for an execute and you've still got Afer here continuing to throw out gas canisters. All it does is further stalls the plant. He's got another one left, effectively 10 seconds of clock that he can burn, but Whitlock shuts down Cartley, and so the Cade is gone. Max barely escapes with a minuscule amount of health. Discover on a triple kill. Dami's got to move in and find a multitude of frags. Downs Discover, the Malusi, the Maestro still on his evil eyes, tagging up the Ash and rethinking gets that final kill. It's Farmer's Market will secure the second round and tie us up at even.
Well, that was a beautiful response from Farmer's Market. That VIP presence was huge. Probably the reason they won that round. Not only was the smoke able to provide the callouts where the push was coming from, but the smokes went down with 30 seconds remaining, could burn the rest of the time off the clock. So at the end of the skirmish, it was all up to Dami after a beautiful triple kill from Discover on that Malusi, proving to be quite a force to be reckoned with. The attack, once again, it came down to the 20-second meta. They had the information, but they did not have the full clear. They did not have the positioning they needed to get that push going. Like you said, Sticula, it was the player in VIP who proved to be so critical in holding that defense together.
You've also got to look at the instrumental role that we saw the Malusi play. It was Discover. He got just a ton of frags. And that's to do because ARIAL Arise, they tried to go for a very late and cluttered execute. They moved into the objective with, man, it seemed like 25 seconds left. There was not a lot of time for them to maneuver, and when you go for something like that, unfortunately, chaos is just inherent, because you don't have the same amount of time to go for a really kind of stratted out push. You don't have the proper amount of time to go for the proper drone work and to understand the positions that Farmer's Market were holding. And they also had the intel of the Evil Eyes, which persevered for the entire duration of that round, simply sitting on the bomb site. We saw there was still one there at the end. It was tagging Dami up as he ran through sight, and the Ash just couldn't find Maestro. He was kind of just hiding in the corner over by Rice. And when you try to waste so much time like that, maybe this will be the big advantage that Farmer's Market can try to use. We'll be rotating now, as you mentioned. The top floor is coming up next. A lot of pressure applied early outside the hell door. Discover gets a bit jiggy with it, tries to go for a bit of a swing and some pre-fires, but the shots don't land. Here comes Dami, though, moving swiftly up the white stairs. He's got the drone in tow. The Goyo's position is known, and Dami looking to double down and get this frag. He spotted the arm just over the edge of the balcony, but Discover still holds passive at the top of the stairs.
And this is a lot of early aggression we've seen here from Discover, but beautifully done to rotate away back to site. But now that rotation going to be switched around. Sod will find Kool-Aid, taking that first pick. Discover will swing onto the Whitehall window, and White Stairs window rather, and Gunner will punish that brutally. And now it's equalized to a 4v4. No, take that a 4v3 as Max will take out the Maestro of Sod. So now in the 3 versus 4, the man down position with ample time on the clock here for ARIAL Arise. Farmer's Market are no doubt on the back foot. The pressure is mounting from that east rappel. We see players on Cocktail and Heaven window, but these deployable shields have been repositioned and they're waiting for this push to come out from this side. Here comes a utility dump, rethinking, going to get beautifully flashed there from the flash from Dami. We see the Vulcan get detonated in Freezer, but still, the defenders waiting for these attackers to push into their arms. The attackers right now still scrambling around, trying to figure out exactly where the push comes from. Here comes the frag into Freezer, won't connect exactly onto the player in there, but here comes the rush up white stairs. That'll deliver the kill onto Rethinkin, and all of a sudden it's up to Cartley and Afer to make this happen.
The diffuser's going down. The Jaeger in the smoke with nothing to stop it. The swing, but it's the repel that gets the better of Afer, and now the smoke. Cartley on so low HP. A gas canister in pocket with the SMG in hand. They'll get a first onto Max, but they trade back and forth. And Ariel Rise fight their way to a win on the top floor. Close, but not yet. I mean, Farmers Market tried to fight that one off. They just never had the proper utility or the position to deny that plant, and I'm sure you saw it, but the missed opportunity for Rethinkin there. He tried to pop up, but the Valkyrie just could not make it work, and simply because of that, you already lose control of Bathroom, and what that does is it gives Ariel plenty of confidence. We're not worried about a flank, so let's just rush right into Cocktail. They did just that, and they emerged with the win in their pocket.
Well, Arial Arise came out with, some similar aggression we've seen that Farmers Market are bringing to the table. They didn't bother contesting Piano or Cigar whatsoever. They didn't even open the hatches on New Balk or on top red stairs. They just sent it from the white stairs. They sent it into Cocktail, and it worked beautifully for them. It seemed that Farmers Market did not have the utility set up. They did not have the readiness for that push coming out from the east side. We saw Discover get overly aggressive playing the Goyo, was penalized for that, and we also saw a couple more players Rethinkin penalized for the aggression as well. But now we're going to be headed over to the tertiary bomb site of Reading and Fireplace, and this means vertical pressure is the name of the game, and that is exactly why we're seeing this extended hold come out from Farmers Market. They are bringing the strats to the table, to say the least. They're not just relying on their gunplay. They really are trying to get this going, but we're going to have to see how well this top floor extension will hold off this attack.
Holding off Ariel Arise has got to be the most important priority here, especially when we've just seen them move very swiftly. It feels like Ariel Arise are incredibly good at finding an advantage and capitalizing on it. Discover the rat below inside Bakery with the pulse scanner, looking for any signs of cardiac life. Max tries to drone in, but it actually gets shot out by Afer, contesting the skylight, not wanting any of his teammates to have their positions relayed. A vertical extension will be what we see here for the fourth round of play on the Reading objective, and this is fairly typical. What you'd like to do here is burn down the clock to about 1:15, 1:30, then seed control, rotate back to hold your bomb site. Sod falling early is a bad omen, and A for 2, Gunner falls, but it's a quick refrag as Dami shuts down any hope to try and remain in control for the top floor. 1:45, a dire straight here. Ariel Arise again in the 4v2 with plenty to work. Still Discover. Tosses up a Nitro. If this connects, it'd be huge. No damage done, though. Ariel Arise managed to negotiate the footwork around it, and the pulse falls simply better. Max wins it out on the vertical engagement. 1:25. It's Cartley again. The smoke in the clutch. The drop on the hatch, and Kool-Aid will get it. Ariel Arise tag 2 in a row.
Well, Ariel Arise just looked better there, like you said, Stick. I mean, really, they just took the fights. They forced out that vertical pressure very early on. They got control of top floor, and they used that to work their way onto the site itself and just get those frags. We saw the pulse of Discover missing most of his shots on those vertical angles, and it was all up to Cartley in that 1v4, an impossible situation against a team like Ariel Arise. Sure, Cartley has done it before, but not against a team like Ariel Arise. So unfortunate for Farmers Market that tertiary bomb site choice did not pan out in their favor, but now they'll be headed back to Bar and Cocktail, the site that didn't go in their way either the first time they were here. But now they know where this Ariel Arise push might come from. And what is so important at all levels of Siege is how you adapt your playstyle to your opponents. When you see a strategy that just is getting the better of you, when you see a player that's positioned in a way that's just getting the better of you every single time, you have to figure out a way to compensate for that, figure out a way to adapt, to pivot your strategy, move around your positioning to prepare for that inevitable push, that inevitable same strategy coming out for the attacking side. If you're Aerial Arise here, it worked once before, why not try it again? Why not just mount all of that pressure from the eastern side? But who knows, maybe they will refocus that push and head over towards the Piano and Cigar side. Only time will tell.
Here's something I think we haven't seen so far through the match, and that'll be the Ela pick coming up from Discover. He doesn't have the FO12, that mean shotgun station on the white stairs, which could try to hold Aerial Arise back. I think they're going to rotate, though, and maybe go for a more traditional push. At least that's what we're seeing so far from these rappels. See the window opened up here by Dami. They'll probably look to clear anyone on minibar, but there's actually no one there, I don't think. And with this composition from Farmer's Market, they don't have anything to protect the red wall, so that should be a fairly confident opening. You've got the Ace with his Selmas to get that opportunity, and the rotate built into Cigar. Drone spots out Rethink, and his position is understood. He's going to try to evade those flashbangs. We saw that wonderful one thrown, I believe, by Dami in the previous defense for this site. It was something straight out of CSGO with the arc that it hit, and the shield is cleared. Rethinking now has the call, rotate back, and give up Pixel.
Well, yes, it's an MPX player, but it's not Warden. You can't see through the flashbangs, and that is going to be too much of a dangerous position for Rethinking to hold, wisely backing off towards the Planks position with support now from the Ela of Discover. Now they're just waiting for this push to gain its traction. They have all the intel. They know exactly where the players are, fully stacked up in Piano and Cigar, but that pressure soon to translate into an execute, and Cartley still on the board waiting for this push to come in from Cocktail. With a minute 15 to go, we have all 10 operators still on the board. No doubt the scoreboard going to be lighting up in just a moment. That's Cartley first to fall. Rethinking tries to find the refrag, but the shots will not connect. Sod will shoot all the way down with that Alda and take down Gunner. No more sledge in play, losing out 2 drones in terms of the drone utility. Cartley is still down, but not out, not fully in a position to be picked up. Rethinking takes a fight here, but pays the price. Tommy delivers the kill. Whitlock with the follow-up onto the Maestro, and now Max will be getting the plant down. We see the Elamine go out. Whitlock takes down Discover, and just like that, it's a 1 versus 4, all up to Afer. He'll find the flank onto Whitlock, taking down 1, but he's got more to find. He's got the double, the headshot onto Max. Now a 1 versus 2, not impossible with 35 seconds remaining on this defuse. But he doesn't even know where these players are positioned. There's the one spotted out. He delivers the kill. That's a triple for Afer, and he only has 1 more to find, but the vertical play from Whitlock is too much for him to withhold. Rather, that's Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid on the skylight there will deliver the fatal blow. A beautiful adaptation from Aerial Arise, but Farmer's Market, they nearly took that.
Yeah, nearly giving Afer a clip. After those 3, it looked certainly possible, and with the swing, the reaction, the flick onto the defuse player, that was very nearly a dire situation, and Aerial Arise would have been kicking themselves were they to have lost that. I like the Ela mine that we saw. The Gersmont tossed out to deny the plant. Unfortunate for the Ela herself, she didn't survive, but it was at least the thought that counts to deny that plant. It's not a play that you see all too often, but just the same as you can deny a counter defuse with Zophia's Lifeline, you can do the same in any type of animation with the Gersmont. And so maybe we'll see a little bit more of that. It looks unlikely, though. Aerial Arise with a 4-1 lead, 3 differential. A return to Kitchen. We saw this one out last time by the big plays of the Smoke and the Malusi. Maybe that'll happen again, and Afer and Discover will repeat history. Aerial Arise, in approaching this round, have got to move just a little bit quicker. If they stall out on the attack and fail to clear VIP, Farmer's Market will make them pay.
Well, as we get round number 6 underway, the question is, will Farmers Market be able to find some traction here? They were able to do it last time, like you said, but at 4-1 on your attacking side, Ariel Arise, they're just looking too strong right now for Farmers Market to deal with. Unfortunate for Farmers Market, they had to face, such a strong team as Ariel Arise. Surely they would have liked to go further, but it's not quite over yet. Maybe Farmers Market have what it takes to just destroy on attack. Who knows? Maybe an attacker-sided cafe is not out of the question. But for now, it's all about Ariel Arise. They seem to just be taking these dubs, taking these 1v1 gunfights, and just winning them. And they're going to go for the top-down typical clear once again. This worked well the first time, but the question is, will they be able to take that pressure and translate it into an execute? They made it happen the first time, but the second time, it didn't go so well.
One thing you'd look to change here is that opening frag, and Cartley actually almost gets it done. Gunner's on the floor. Nickade is looking to try and get this confirmed. He's not in the greatest spot here, lying on the floor of dining room. A nitro cell could mean his grisly end. If Cartley plays it right, even 2 maybe. Gunner could be baited out here. Discover on the rotate, finds the opening, and now Kool-Aid will fall. All this time spent to take control of the top floor, but it means nothing. Discover, he gets another one, maybe even a third, but no, Dami stops the pain. Relieves it now as Discover will fall, but another multi-kill for the Malusi, and time lost here for Ariel Arise in dealing with these pesky roamers. Dami on the Ash now rotates further down, spots out the smoke, a missed opportunity for Aeford to find their advantage and drive it home even further, but because of that now, Dami leads his team into an even man-to-man situation. Rethinking yet to be cleared. He's off of the previous role we saw him play on the Intel, instead picking up the Jaeger. Still a slow time going here. Max opens up the restaurant window, hoping to try and clear Rethinking. A lot of utility being used here. Another flashbang. Rethinking looks to get aggressive, but actually now flashed out. He can't see much. The shield should be cleared, but oh no, Dami. A misuse of the utility there, and still the ADS should be able to protect it if another is sent that way.
Well, this is pure and simple a 1v1. We've seen it play out over the last 30 seconds, but here comes the push from Dami. Despite the deployable shield, Dami prevails and will remove the head of Rethinking. Oh my, that's not what Rethinking wanted to do there. Had the advantage, had the mini pocket mirror window to assist him, but it did not matter. Dami just proved too strong. So now in a 3v2 with 10 seconds left, the execute needs to come down. The pings go out as the plant starts to hit the deck. Max takes a bit of damage, but he'll take the kill onto Saad. Cartley finds the C4 kill onto Dami, but now is all left alone in a 1 versus 2. With the plant going down on the hard pings, not going to be able to stop it, so it's a retake situation for Cartley. He's got the AUG in hand, trying to find some traction here, even though he's got the knowledge, hasn't been able to deliver these picks. Got the double door player and going to rotate away. The shots come out, but Whitlock will win the fight, removing Cartley from play and giving Ariel Arise round number 6.
Ariel really played commandingly on their attacks. 4 plants in total, not a single one of them faltering or going the way of Farmers Market, and only losing that 1 trick round on the second attempt of Kitchen, and it was frankly still very close. Discover is making his best effort to keep his team alive, but Ariel Arise with such a humongous and just defiant lead, up by 4 at the split. Farmers Market have a lot to do now that they will pick up the attack, and frankly, the way the cafe plays out, I don't know if I see 2 rounds being denied here for Ariel, even if Farmers Market managed to mount a comeback and find some 4 rounds. Still, it's just Ariel need to win too, and that just seems so possible with the way that they're playing. The coordination is on point, the frags are truly alive, and the trade game is at its height. Ariel played so well on their attacks, a monstrable demonstration of how you can play on Cafe, and this looks good for them moving further in the bracket. Farmers Market may be going down into the losers bracket a little bit earlier than they had intended versus an opponent like Ariel Arise, though I think we can excuse them just a little bit.
10 seconds left.
Yeah, it's not too surprising to see it play out in this way, but as you said, definitely unfortunate for Farmers Market. It's unlikely they're going to be able to get all of these rounds, not allow Aerial Arise to just win 2. And with the full choice of bomb sites after round, it seems that Aerial Arise will indeed have the big advantage here. But maybe we're going to see a ridiculous attack from Farmers Market. Only time will tell, as the site is going to actually be one of those secondary, or no, it's going to be up top on that bar and cocktail. No surprise to see them there, as Gunner and Whitlock will both be on this hard roam, played all the way downstairs, and assisted with those Valkyrie cams, could go for some cheeky little runouts if Farmers Market is not careful.
That's the danger you play. Whitlock approaches the door, hops on the cam. The default better not be up here, otherwise Farmers Market will be surely penalized here. Whitlock looks like he wants to go for it. He's eyeing up the door. The rappel is here. He's still weary that maybe someone on Farmers Market is going to try to come clear him out, but I don't know if they have the intel that the Malusi is down. Whitlock is just waiting, biding his time. Afer on the rappel. Eventually the call will come. The barricade is torn on down. He rushes out. Does he spot him? No, from the rooftop. Rethinking finds the opener. What a way to start off Farmers Market's first attack to take out Whitlock. Now you've lost whatever utility he still had, as well as the MP5. Such a crucial weapon. We saw how well Discover wielded it. And now with it gone, Aerial Arise fighting from a point of disadvantage with the need to get this opener in response. You have to find a trade now. You don't want to let Farmers Market make a fool of you in this first attack for them. Still holding the close angle here. Kool-Aid trying to tempt his luck and maybe find this pick up through the hatch. Flashbang tossed on down, but Max with the revolver taps the head of Saad. The ace is gone. Cartley quickly, though, now shuts down the smoke. A nitro cell in hand, it tossed on up. Cartley with the double, though, and Dami shuts down Afer's a 2v3. Aerial Rise in the disadvantage, but we know what Dami can do with Gunner on the flank. Maybe this is doable. The Nomad is down. The diffuser, no, but Dami can't get a second. Make that Gunner's job, and now he takes out Cartley and Rethinking on the Zoe, the final attacker in the 1v1. The ping is here. Dami peeks up, and Aerial Arise will get the clutch. They move forward to match point.
A beautiful performance by the defenders of Aerial Arise. It was all up to Dami and Gunner in the 2 versus 4, but it didn't matter. They just assassinated those Farmers Market attackers and really just absolutely took them down. We saw that tap with the revolver, like you said. That was a beautiful shot there, but it did not matter. It was Aerial who prevailed in the end. And now moving on to the 6-1 match point. We're going to be heading over to Kitchen and the Service. So Farmers Market, they really got to get something going here. They did allow Aerial to play into their arms, at least in the beginning of that round. They allowed the aggression to come out, and then they punished that aggression. But we're going to have to keep an eye on the time. They really did not get the pressure onto site by the time they needed to. When they had the man advantage, had the pressure mounted earlier, maybe Aerial Arise would have been on the back foot. But because of the way it played out, Farmers Market ended up being in that tough situation. Yes, they had the man advantage, but the time, that 11th man was working against them, and that proved to be so critical.
Not a peep from Farmers Market in some 5 rounds. Aerial Arise are building up a massive streak of momentum, looking to carry it further into the round of 16 by closing this out. A 7-1 against Farmers Market. No weak opponent in this attacking team. If Aerial Arise can get this here and now, close out Cafe, especially with a 5-1 on the attacking split, it's such a strong initial statement. They want their share of that $2,500 prize pool, and they're going to fight like hell for it. Gunner tosses out the black eye camera, so maybe looking to get aggressive. I don't think it really landed in the most optimal position, though. He can maybe see himself up through the window, but that's about it. Par for the rappel. Probably wishes that it hadn't gone that way, or maybe he had a second one to try and hit it just a bit better. Farmers Market, though, you have so little room for mistakes. We already talked about it. It didn't seem like Aerial Arise was going to lose more than 4 rounds, and they've already just got the first one that counts. Second one here and now is all they need. Oh, so aggressive from Gunner, the pre-fire, but he won't get the kill. The drone moves in to give them the intel. That kill could have been so instrumental, but he'll miss out on the opportunity. Gunner continues to contest it, playing aggressive swings to try and find the Nomad. Discover evades the bullets, though. Another pre-fire set and shot. Gunner with 50. So low on HP now as they move in. The wall gets sledged open, so Cartley can apply some pressure, taking a bunch of damage, though now down. Can he get confirmed? It's the Deagle kill! Not a second, though, as Discover finally shuts down Gunner for his trifling a 4v4.
Well, that is a minute 20 off the clock, simply just focused on the Valkyrie of Gunner. If you're Gunner, that is a perfect play that was very, very successful. Sure, you lost your life, but you found one, the sledge with the breaching hammer, whose sole job it is to open up those vertical angles. And as a result, those vertical pressure is going to be hard to come out from Farmer's Market here. They're not going to have enough utility. Sure, they have the breaching rounds and those impacts from the Zofia, but that surely will not be enough. Discover takes another pick, though, taking down Max, giving the man advantage to Farmer's Market once again, but last time they did not capitalize with that man advantage. They still lost to some very persistent Aerial Arise defenders. Now under a minute, this attack is still yet to really gain this traction that they need. They found the picks, but they need to get map control and get this execute going. Whitlock tempting a bit of a rotate, but the wallbang coming out from Saad. A beautiful awareness there. Dami answers, taking out Discover, but the vertical play from Afer is too much for Kool-Aid. Now in a 3 versus 1, it's going to be all up to Dami. He has the Alda, more than enough bullets to do the job, but he's going to have to find 3 hungry Farmer's Market attackers. Afer's, Sad, and Rethinking, both waiting and looking for Dami, positioned here down in VIP. They don't know exactly where he is. The plant will be hitting the deck, but with 10 seconds left, Afer delivers the blow on to Dami, and Farmer's Market will take their second round of Cafe.
Finally working to alleviate some pressure here, the Farmer's Market take the round. Number 9, the Kitchen defense not working out, and even despite the best efforts of Gunner in his time waste inside of Cigar and Piano, losing the sledge, I think, didn't have as much impact, maybe as Aerial Arise had hoped. They didn't really focus, too much on complete vertical domination, and even when they went to try and apply the vertical pressure, it was largely successful. We could not see Aerial fight back on the vertical game. There wasn't really any nitros, no explosives potential to go and deny that out. And losing Gunner early, what that meant was simply one of the nitros gone immediately. So you lose out on Valkyrie's utility. You go 1 for 1 in the trade with a bit of damage done, I think, on a Discover on the Nomad. But ultimately, beyond that, what it meant was immediately your roam was conceded, and the rest of Farmer's Market could move in and approach closer to the bomb site. Reading is next from Aerial Arise, going for the full rotation of sites and not choosing to repeat any just yet, keeping them rather in the pocket for later if it's necessary to close this out. We'll see the reinforcement. This is a fairly common setup. Aerial Arise here on the extension. We saw this played out by Farmer's Market to their disadvantage. Aerial Arise did an awesome job to clear out the roamers early. The dominance that they established on the top floor was just so deafening, and Farmer's Market struggled to fight against it in the trade game. They had to forfeit control of the top floor so early that they retreated to the objective with very, very much time for Farmer's Market, or rather Aerial Arise, in that attack to negotiate their push. That would be the same objective here for Aerial Arise. Burn down the clock, get to at least a minute and 30 before the attackers move into Cocktail, and just hopefully try to win that round out before it becomes an issue of who reaches the objective the fastest.
Well, speaking of time, I admittedly am a little surprised of the way that last round played out. It seemed, based on that early play from Gunner, that Aerial Arise were seriously in the advantage position. They not only burned a minute and a half off the clock, but they removed that breaching hammer. It didn't seem to matter, though. It was Farmer's Market who really just took that aggression and really sped up that attack and really made a decisive push onto the site. But now, like you said, we're heading to Reading Room, the tertiary bomb site, and the vertical pressure is once again a big focus for both the attack and the defense. And that is why we see Max bringing out the pulse. He's going to use that heartbeat scanner, the pseudo wall hacks, to figure out exactly where this attacker push is coming from. But right now, not a lot of intel going his way as these attackers are taking their sweet time, just droning out, getting that intel, and they're going to have to worry about Whitlock here next, positioned up in Pixel, but will rotate away to the support of Dami. We see that Dami is positioned here in Heaven, waiting for this push to come through, but the attackers are actually just not giving them the picks that Aerial Arise are looking for right now.
I think what we'll see here from Farmers Market is a train bypass. They're going to try to push in, force the attack onto Dining. Were they to reposition and go for the top floor take now, they've already burned far too much time. Saad will encounter the Mute Jammer protecting the pillar wall, and his Selma will be unsuccessful. Discover with the first. Can he get the second? Jaeger peeking. Whitlock going aggressive, looking for this player. He's watching the cigar shop angle as he rounds the corner. The Jaeger playing it safe here with the 416 and the rotate. Farmers Market trying to get a little bit more manpower to clear out Whitlock. If he gets this pick or even just wastes a little bit more time, this could be so successful. Whitlock creeps on through, but Gunner falls. Damage dealt to the Jaeger, and Afer finding the kill. Max falls as well, a 2v5. Doesn't look good here for Aerial Arise. They're going to have to get this diffuser down, complete that last bit of leverage. Afer doesn't check this angle up here by Shaiko spot, though. A leap over the counter, but the plant begins. Kool-Aid needs to do the job in denying this. A Nitro Cell tossed out, but I don't think it's successful. Whitlock finally cleared upstairs to sledge to round the corner. A 1v3 for Kool-Aid in the clutch, but he doesn't catch the prone angle, and Saad will take it. Farmers Market collect 2 in a row.
Look at this momentum mounting here from Farmers Market. Maybe it's not too late for them to really take this one back and mount that comeback. Sure, it's match point, but Farmers Market are looking strong in back-to-back rounds. Despite, a little bit of early struggles, they're really just putting on that pressure and really taking the fight to Aerial Arise in a big, big way. But still, it's 6-3, it's match point. 3 more rounds are going to need to happen in a row if Farmers Market want to take us to overtime. And Aerial Arise, they're not going to let that happen too easily. We're headed back to Bar, a site that was taken in, big fashion from Aerial Arise. Last time in that 2v4, it was Dami and Gunner to clutch it out. But there was that man advantage from Farmers Market. So if they are able to secure the man advantage once again, all they have to do is not let those 2-star players really mess up their day.
That's a good way to describe it here. And the third floor, this is Aerial Rise. The bomb fight they won for the initial round of the second split. Maybe they'll look to do it again. We saw them play very well on site. They managed to hold Farmers Market back for so long. And it even looks sort of like the advantage was lying in the favor of Farmers Market. I think at the halfway point through the round, it was something like 2-3 in the favor of Farmers. But they could not close it out, in the clutch we saw came up big to take that round in the favor of Aerial. If they can repeat that here, that would be good, but they're likely hoping for maybe a bit more of a confident end to Cafe. Gunner rotates down. I think not sure if he spots Rethinking's drone there below the table or not. He actually doesn't, and Gunner goes on it. But he's still holding here. I'm curious what this play is about. Falk, Rethinking is trying to spot the arm. Oh no, look outside the window. They ante up, they spot him the pre-fire. He manages to escape though. How does Gunner win that and still manage to get away? Gunner should have been dead and gone there. That was Farmers Market's kill to make and the advantage to take, but they couldn't get it done.
Well, that could prove a problem for Farmers Market because Gunner has been so elusive every single roaming round for the Valkyrie so far. With all of that time already burned off the clock, finally the attackers are going to work their way to the roof and start to get these hatches open and get this intel going. But that is a great start for Aerial Arise, just what they needed to keep on this match point and potentially take map number 1 and take the match, moving them on to the round of 16. Well, actually the round of 8, I believe, because this is our second round, the round of 16 now. So we do see the dump coming in onto the pixel position. Dami going to get pressured here, but it's going to hold fast and refuse to move. He'll still be waiting for this push to come through as Whitlock now is going to take up that position that Gunner was in just a moment ago. The persistent roam coming out from Aerial Arise has proved just a bit too much for Farmers Market to deal with as we get down about a minute 20 left in this round.
The lack of the opening frag here is becoming more and more evident in the slowdown of the Farmers Market attack. The lack of the clear, the fact that Gunner still remains, he's down below a nitro cell in the pocket, and with an opponent above him, this could be the kill that gets it all going. The freezer wall is open, and Kool-Aid taking a bit of damage from the player deeper inside Cigar Shop. Just the same for Max now, sunk at 60. Drone shot out, and Gunner, he's still below. He still has a nitro cell to deny the plant, and with intel as well, he might be able to get a cheeky kill here. The more time that Farmers Market delay here in their push is more opportunities for Gunner with his nitro. It'll detonate, but doesn't get anyone. Discover, however, will fall anyway. Whitlock peeks the breach, goes for a second. The pre-fire shot out. The advantage for Aerial Rise with 25 seconds to go. The push will come out, but a gas canister stands to obscure their path. And so the push will be made that much more difficult. Farmers Market have got to get something going, because at this rate, it looks like an Aerial Arise round. Dami finds Afer wrapping around the corner. Kool-Aid onto Cartley, Gunner onto Natsad. The final kill onto the Cade, but the Zofia has traded it out. Aerial Arise will win it in 10. A 7-3 victory. They advance to the winner's bracket.
Beautiful job from Aerial Arise, and a great way to close out the map with confidence, like you were saying, Sticula, because that's exactly all they need to continue to move forward in this winner's bracket and take the fight to those big Challenger League T2 teams. Maybe not as fast as they wanted it to be, but a 7-3 victory is a decisive